In recent years, more than half of Americans' black billionaires have been attacked by heinous allegations. We got Kanye West,
Tyler Perry,
Bill Cosby,
Tiger Woods,
Sean P. Diddy Combs,
and now Jay-Z.
They can't all be guilty, or can they? Welcome back to our channel. I'm Hass.
I'm Cece.
Today we got a hot topic for you. Dr. Umar said black folks like to see black folks fail in one of his videos. Now, I believe that's a bit harsh of an assessment, especially of your own people. But would you say it's true? I mean, did you jump on the bandwagon as soon as the news about Jay-Z was dropped? Did you secretly want it to be true? I'm not saying it's not true, but let's not be puppets controlled by the media's narratives. Do your own research.
As of November this year, we had around 801 American billionaires with a combined wealth of about $6.22 trillion.
The current U.S. population is around 335 million.
So therefore, that's about 801 divided by 335 million, meaning that the percentage of billionaires in the U.S. population is approximately somewhere around 0.239%. So if that gives you any idea. So that's like about a third of a person out of every 100 people.
So now let's look at it like this. Of the 801 U.S. billionaires, there are like 12 black American billionaires.
Yep. So black billionaires are almost as rare as unicorns. And as we know, the first black billionaire was BET founder Robert Johnson. But he fell off the list somewhere around 2017.
And according to Forbes 2024 list of the richest people in the world, the current American black billionaires include Robert Smith, who made his $9.2 billion fortune in private equity.
And then there's David Stewart, who is the founder of Worldwide Technology.
Then you got the media moguls, Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry.
Right. And then, of course, there's basketball greats Michael Jordan and LeBron James. And then golf great Tiger Woods.
And, of course, we also have hip-hop moguls and businessmen Jay-Z, Sean P. Diddy Combs, and Kanye West. And let's not forget our Atlanta homeboy, Tope Awotona, and, of course, Alexander Karp.
So Alexander Karp is black?
Yeah. He is black. His mother's black. She even looks something like you.
Really?
She's the renowned artist Leah Jane Karp.
Oh, really? Okay, so yeah, I know exactly who that is. She was the woman who did a series on the Atlanta missing children, I believe, right?
That's right. That's her.
Okay.
Yep.
You taught me something today. So anyway, imagine being a black billionaire. You're already dealing with the pressures of being a minority in a predominantly white space. And then you're going to be accused of some sort of sexual misconduct, A
story like this is like a golden goose egg to the media.
Right.
Folks will definitely tune into this stuff, especially in light of the recent allegation against music moguls P. Diddy and Jay-Z.
Yeah, and so, speaking of P. Diddy and Jay-Z, from what I've seen, the public has pretty much been split in their opinion. Some people believe the allegations, and then, of course, you have a lot of people who are very skeptical about the allegations. So what would your thoughts be on this, you think?
Well, it's true. Media will frame a story to make it interesting. However, someone feeds the media that controlled narrative, I believe. Whether that narrative is tarnishing, elevating, or confusing, it has an unequivocal effect on their reputation. You know what I'm saying? And so of the 400 top billionaires in the world, 4 of those 12 appear on that list. And so now, statistically, this is a very small group. On how, so how is it that more than half of them have been caught up behind heinous accusations?
Right.
You know, they're oftentimes portrayed as powerful predatory figures who use their wealth and influence to manipulate and coerce their victims, of which this depiction could very well be true.
I mean, well, when you're talking about money and power, I mean, it has the potential to corrupt anyone,
Yeah.
But I think that I don't think that just because a person is wealthy and powerful, that necessarily means that they're going to be a predator or they're going
Sure.
to use that wealth and power to be predatory upon people.
Sure.
But however, we have to consider that the cause of the black billionaires getting caught up in this is something else altogether.
Yeah.
And it's making me think that maybe we need to consider that this is a reflection of society's deep-seated stereotypes about black men.
Now let's be clear. We are not saying these men are innocent.
Because we don't know.
We're just merely asking the question of what and why is this very small percentage of the population being accused of such heinous behavior.
Right.
Are we to believe that every wealthy and powerful black man is a sex-craved maniac?
We've seen time and time again that powerful black men accused of sexual misconduct, and the media will go into overdrive.
That's
when
right.
It happens.
That's right.
And these headlines are often sensationalized, and the public's perception of the individual is permanently tarnished for
Absolutely.
the most part.
But what about the cases where white billionaires are accused of similar crimes? Mm-hmm. Do they receive the same level of scrutiny? The answer is oftentimes, hell no.
Right. Well, I don't know now, because in this era of Me Too, I feel like that there has pretty much been the playing field's been leveled as far as, who is getting accused. And statistically, it's mostly white males, powerful white men who are getting accused of these predatory crimes.
You're right.
So,
I agree. These white dudes have been going down. It's very true.
Yeah.
But they ain't been billionaires. Wait. You know what? I regress that whole statement. Who was it? Kurt Johnson of famed S.C. Johnson family.
Oh, yeah.
He got charged in 2011 and was supposed to receive 40 years. But somehow they delayed the case for 3 years. And once the whole case was over, he only got 3 months of jail sentence. Well, he got 4 months, but he only served 3 months of jail sentence. And I believe he only had like a $6,000 probation or some craziness. It was ridiculous. And of course, we can't forget about our boy Jeff Epstein.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. He was famously...
He went down for some stuff, that was big time. But,
He's a billionaire, right?
Well, all of his money was over in the Virgin Islands. So, they couldn't really... They couldn't really assess what his total holdings were, and the United States couldn't touch it.
Okay, but now moving on, we have Jay-Z in the news with an allegation, and most people thought he was pretty much toast when NBC, until NBC dropped that interview with the victim, where and in the interview she claimed that she had this conversation with Benji Madden and his brother about a Jesus tattoo or a Last Supper tattoo.
Some religious tattoo on his arm, because she had one also and she was very religious and all of this stuff.
But they claimed, the Maddens claimed, that they were nowhere near the VMAs in 2000. Right. And in fact, they were touring somewhere off in the Midwest. And then, of course, her dad is saying that he has no recollection of picking her up.
Now, hold on. Pump the brakes. How do you not remember that you had to go pick up your 13-year-old autistic daughter? Special needs. So you know, and autism isn't really all of, you know, but still,
I mean,
you would have been keeping your eyes on this kid.
I mean,
right?
even without her being autistic, I mean, we didn't let our 13-year-olds run, you know,
in the middle of the night, no less.
Right. 5 hours away.
And then you pick them up at a strange gas station.
Right. This 5 hours away from their house.
Not close to your house. Not close to your house at all.
So,
5 hours away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, my point is how do you not remember that? I would have been fuming.
I mean, it would have been.
I would have been fuming.
I mean, and then the fact that you would have had to drive 5 hours to get her and then 5 hours back home.
Well, I don't know.
Like
I don't know where she might not have lived with her dad or none of that. He might have lived close by or whatever. And then her mom lived in Rochester. Who knows? But it does sound like, according to the timeline, that she would have called at 1 something in the morning and wouldn't have gotten back home until about 6 something in the morning. So, you know, all of that. And being a 13-year-old, I'm just flabbergasted. I know that I remember every single occasion where my kids got into some type of situation that I had to save them from,
right, or flat tire,
man,
you know,
whatever it was.
Right.
I remember it because I had an emotional experience.
Right, exactly. So that's what I'm saying, and I'm not saying it didn't happen, but because he could have memory problems, we don't know that.
You're right,
but at the same time, you know, you're gonna, especially with the kid that young, because 13 is a child.
That's a child.
It's a child. You know, and so you're definitely gonna.
You're not letting a 13-year-old out of your sight.
Like I said, I always knew where our kids were. I don't care. Usually they were in the house with me, but you know,
Yeah, she could have been a latchkey kid because I was a latchkey kid, letting myself in. But you know, when I started messing up and didn't have and I lost the
key to your house.
No, I lost my mother's trust. She couldn't trust that I would do what she told me to do. I was no longer given that privilege of letting myself in and taking care of myself. I then quickly got a babysitter.
I mean, but going back to that, if you are a latchkey kid, that's different than you being out late at night. You know what I'm saying? Because by that time your parents are home.
They should be at home.
Because your parents were home.
Dinner should have been served. Where is she?
Right. I never let my kids sit in the room for very long. They probably thought I was bugging them. But, you know, every couple hours I would check in and say, hey, you want a snack? Or, hey, what's up with you? You know, you feeling okay? If they were in their room. But, you know, usually we kind of had a communal, you know, where our kids were out of the room. But, yeah, you definitely would remember. There's no reason you should not remember picking your 13-year-old child up 5 hours away from home. And then when you finally see the silhouette and the voice of this chick, now 35, talking about when she was 13. I think she's 37.
She looked to be some lily white woman from Alabama. And then her attorney Busby is a white dude also. It was kind of making me feel like this whole thing has been orchestrated against another rich black man in this situation. They were trying to take down Jay-Z.
Yeah. Okay. So let's suppose for a moment that there is some sort of conspiracy to, let's say, neutralize black wealth in this country. Why? Why would the powers that be want to do that?
All right. Well, let me run down a couple. So
break it down for us.
Let me break down a couple of the reasons why.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So we're currently going into a new season with the new president where there is this fear that we're going to come under the rule of this Project 2025.
That is true.
What it seems like with the Project 2025, there is some sort of cutting people off from information, cutting people off from education. You know, it's like a matter of dumbing them down. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and in this process of doing that, the population becomes, they become somewhat tethered and controlled.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to happen. They're going to be controlled.
Yeah.
and freedoms are going to be taken away and all of that, right?
Possibly.
Now, you know, it is a very good possibility that one of the populations that will be targeted, of course, would be the black population. And what better to do than to subdue the resources that may be available to
Save.
exactly save that population.
So what you're saying essentially is that you believe that this Project 2025 is somewhat in the process of happening. That you believe that they are taking down all the wealthy black people that they can in America, the ones that have real power, so that when they target the black population, we won't have any allies.
We don't have any allies that's got some type of power, some sort of money, you know. And as it seemed, anytime a rich black person starts to get a conscience and seeks to start to do things that'll be in the better good for the regular population, something happens to them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at Michael Jackson. You know, dude died. As I understood, P. Diddy was trying to start some type of party. He got accused. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I don't know what happened. I mean, I'm not saying that P. Diddy did not do what he did.
Well, I mean,
I don't
we at least know he did something to the woman Cassie. We do know that. Because we have hard evidence about that.
We do know that.
There's no disputing that fact.
You're right. You're right.
And if they, you know, if just because they're wealthy, they don't get a pass. So
no,
just because they're black, they don't get a pass. So
absolutely not.
You know, so
if they did it, they need to be held accountable. Exactly. Absolutely, I agree. But what the interesting part about it is that when there is someone who is trying to put things like that into motion, that something happens to them. I mean, that's almost like that COINTELPRO never died. Like, it's still out there. Still watching. Hell, they might be watching us right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know what? So what do you do
if it does end up being a conspiracy? This is what it has to be one of the most craziest, well thought out plans in history, because they would have had to been thinking about this years ago. Which we find that to be true, because when you go back and you look at like after slavery and there was Reconstruction, you know. That was a systemic thing they did.
Systematic.
To break down Reconstruction and then implement Jim Crow. Yeah. And then look at us, you know, 50, 60, 70 years later, you know, we're still fighting the effects of that. And so...
You're absolutely right. We're still suffering from those things. And it's not just black people that are suffering from those things. It is all manners of people. Whether the white folks who are not a part of that 1% class want to believe it or not, we are all in this. We are all being tricked the same way.
Right?
And puppeteered.
Definitely.
The same way.
The same way.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think y'all might have a better idea of, you know, prepping and things of the sorts like that to make sure that y'all are taking care of yourselves, you know, which a lot of us do the same thing. You know, and a lot of us are also licensed carriers and things of the sorts and very trained in the same way. But yeah, you know, we're all suffering from this same system that
capitalist
is called a capitalist system, which, you know, growing up, hey, I love it. The opportunity to be able to make your own way in this world and, you know, have faith that it's going to work out and things of the sorts like that. But, you know, in that capitalist system, there's always going to be somebody who's going to be under somebody's shoe. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be that underdog.
Yeah.
That person who is going to suffer. And is it right that in order for one people to thrive, that the other person has to suffer? Is that how the world has to always be?
I mean, I think that the fact that by human nature, we all want power, you know, whatever that power is. And unfortunately, the way people get power is by putting people on the street. If you look at the bully in the high school, from the boss that's a tyrant at work to the I don't know, to the woman or man that beats their spouse. Everybody is trying to somehow maintain some sort of power.
Yeah.
That's the thing about America. They have taught us that in order that we can't have harmony, somebody has to suffer.
Right.
And that's not necessarily true. And that was one of the reasons with the Black Panthers, why they were so afraid of the Black Panthers. Black Panthers was like, look, it's enough for all of us, because they were setting up clinics and medical care and feeding children, and and they were making alliances across race and color.
That's
and so and they had peaceful alliances.
That's right.
Because all of these people needed help. We had the Appalachians, who were the Young Patriots, that was a white group they worked with, and they had the Brown Berets. So I think the powers that be wants us to believe that the only way it can be is if someone is beat down.
And the only way that we can live comfortably in this world is if we thrive to be one of the 1%, which is, hard as it is to do. But in that process of you trying to do it, imagine how many backs you got to stab. Imagine how many people you got to backdoor. You got to cheat them out of some stuff. All of the backroom deals that happen. You know what I'm saying? Imagine that. And this is the very thing that, of course, Black folk feel like, all of the backdoor cheating scams that's happened in order to subdue the Black population. You know what I'm saying? So, what's going on with these Black billionaires? You know what I'm saying? We ain't surprised by it. It's not really all of that far-fetched to us.
That is true. And like we said before, this is just something we're giving you another way to think about something.
Absolutely.
That if there could be more to the story about why, of course they might find one or two that might be guilty. So now it's like, why not throw everybody else under the bus? If they're guilty or not. It's
essential to remember that these scandals have far-reaching implications.
Right.
They're not just about the individuals involved. They're about our society's perception of Black wealth and power, and really their perception that, and that's what stands out to us, of course, being Black folk. But, really it also comes down to the perception of wealth and power of anyone who can pull themselves from the bottom to the top. At some point they're going to try to take that away from you, and you got to protect it.
Right. And so with that, we have to start re-examining our biases and challenging them when necessary, because we need to ask ourselves, what does the powers that be receive from, subduing Black people in general? The billionaires as well as us regular folk.
Absolutely. And y'all know Black folks will save everyone. So it's in your best interest to make sure Black folk resources are fortified.
Right.
I know it sounds funny, but I'm serious. Y'all know it's true. Black folks have historically set the stage for worldwide freedom.
Right. And on that, I'm going to say, well, that's all for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any thoughts on this topic, please leave us a comment below. And if you want to explore more videos on racial issues and media portrayal of Black people, be sure to check out our channel, The Adventures of Cece and Hass, right here.